Welcome back to the 128KB podcast. We are back once again.
Due to lack of popular demand.
Yes, you got it in one.
I did, yes.
This is your weekly dose of all things gaming with two absolutely furious gamers.
Delusional.
As the rest of the gaming industry is also in utter disbelief.
Shocked.
Yes, I'm talking about the fact that Andy completed some games.
Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah, of course. Yeah, that. Yeah.
No, we are going to get onto the hot potato,
are.
the elephant in the room that is spending £700 on a PlayStation.
For 8K gaming.
8K gaming's back again.
Yes.
But no, I wanted to start with how are you getting on? How's your week in gaming been? All right?
It's been pretty good.
Nice little catch up.
I'm still playing Star Wars Outlaws.
You're still playing Outlaws?
Yeah.
Do you know?
Still getting frustrated with it because it's really hard.
We, on the news channel, obviously we talked about it and it's kind of muted response.
Yeah.
Well, it's lukewarm response.
Ooh.
And there's been a few comments on there.
Oh, really?
Of like people just angry about it. Just angry. And I think it's because it's Ubisoft.
Yes.
That's all I can consider it is. Because the game itself is all right.
It's actually good.
Yes.
And I'm seeing people on Twitter now, like some big, people in the gaming space saying like, I don't know where all these review like scores have come from and stuff. We're actually enjoying the game.
Yeah.
Like, and again, I think it might be just fun to hate on or whatever.
I think it's fun to hate on. It's Ubisoft, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And I'm against all that crazy pricing and all that kind of stuff.
But okay, so you're quite deep into the game now.
Yeah.
They've got all these season passes and these kind of DLC content you could have bought at the start and pre-order and all that nonsense. Mm-hmm. I take you've obviously done none of that.
Yeah.
Are you missing anything?
Not that I know of. Some skins.
Skins for a single player narrative game. What's the point of the skins? I don't understand.
And the thing is, those skins have no like stat attributes, and in the game you get like different bits that actually have stat attributes.
So you're going to lose.
Yeah, so you wouldn't be wearing them anyway. There's no like transmog or anything.
It's such nice, with a Diablo reference. That's good. It's such a Ubisoft thing, isn't it?
It is.
This kind of pointless milking customers of their money.
Absolutely. But ignore all that. If you can get the game on a sale, then just get it. It's good.
I'm waiting
I like
for. I'm waiting for it to drop in price a little bit.
Yeah.
Like we said actually before it was released.
Yes.
Before I did my fabled pre-order, cancelled pre-order.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, I'll wait for the Game of the Year edition or something, or maybe it'll drop in price in the next month or so and I'll look at it. I want to play it. I've you streamed it to me actually. We spent a whole evening playing it together kind of.
Yeah. You get me into trouble. But it's good though. Like I'm genuinely enjoying it, but and they've released a new patch recently which fixes the cloud saves, so you can finally cloud save. So I've actually been playing it on the Xbox as well now.
Oh, nice. Okay.
I was streaming it from my PC to the Ally docked onto my 4K TV. So I was getting my 3080 to run it on the TV, which was great, obviously. Yeah. But then I was like, well, the Xbox is just here. I don't have to faff around with multiple systems being on and streaming and stuff. So I was like, I'll try it on Xbox now with the cloud save. And it looks good. I was impressed.
Yeah.
I mean, performance mode is the way to go for that 60 FPS, but
how does it look in performance mode?
Good. Yeah, it doesn't look potatoey. You can just see stuff's been dropped and there's some flickering of textures in certain areas. Yeah. Like if you go into a crawl space where it's very obvious you're just seeing a corridor, you can see like the image breaking up. But when you're out in the world, you can't see that. And I was going between fidelity and all I'm seeing is the frame rate. And I'm like, I'm one to go for fidelity over frame rate, depending on the game here. Don't get me wrong. On console. But I'm so used to playing on PC again now. I'm like, I can't do 30. I'm sorry. I could on handheld. Absolutely. I can get over that. Not on TV. So I'm like straight onto performance mode and it's good. I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. I expected it to look like a potato and run well. Yeah. It actually looks good. But the game, the funny thing where I was going with this is the update not only fixed this cloud save, but the devs admitted the forced stealth is too difficult.
Wow.
So they've downgraded it. So they've made it easier. It still nails.
It's hard. It is hard.
I'm doing this mission. I spent about an hour. I died about 4 times and I gave up. I rage quit. I went, I'm done with that. Turn the Xbox off. Put the telly on. I was like, I'm not doing it.
I've not rage quit in the longest time.
Yeah.
But I got very close to it when we were at the end of Gears 5.
Yes.
Very
I was
close.
with you, though. We were both like,
stop this, man.
It was so annoying. But I kind of like rage quitting. I've missed rage quitting because I used to rage quit so much when I was younger because games were so difficult. Now games are so easy that you just don't need to rage quit. Whereas with this, because it's forced stealth, it makes you actually have to try. Do you know what I mean? And then when you do it, you're like, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really good. You're like, yeah, I did that. You've
got that almost like Souls-like element of almost, I've got to learn the pattern of this thing and go back and do it again. And I'm going to be better each time.
Yes. Like if I was a kid where I was talking to one of our Discord members, for members only. There you go. And I was saying, like, you were saying spoiled for choice with games now. I think in the news video or somewhere you were saying it. And I was like, it's so true. Like when I was a kid, I had the game.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah,
and
totally.
You played it whether it was crap or not. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like whether you liked it or not, that was the game you had for that period of time. And often it was months before you could afford another one. So you just played it and played it and played it, and you always ended up dying. It's almost like they knew that you couldn't afford many games, so they just made them hard. Yeah. So that you had to learn the game.
How do we get more hours out of this game?
But it made it fun, challenging, and it was a rite of passage to be like, I played this and I completed it. And people are like, no way, and I'm feeling like that now. And I'd rage quit so many times, but then you go away, you come back and you try it again. I'm feeling that same feeling now again with Star Wars, and I like it. It's like a glutton for punishment kind of thing. Yeah. It's like, oh, this is so annoying, but I want to keep doing it.
I hadn't really considered it until you just said that, but I'm so used to now in modern games, just barely dying, barely getting game over screens, just going all the way through. Yeah. And then that's it, that end. Yes. And it just being almost monotonous, just like done. Oh, it was 10 hours and I completed it.
Yes.
Like there's apart from like the obvious like Souls-like games where nails, you don't get many like single player narratives that are genuinely testing.
No. This is one of them. Even though they've dumbed it down, I'm still struggling. And I've been playing it enough to know the controls well enough. Do you know what I mean? I'm way past the bit. They only affected the beginning of the game. Yeah. And I'm way past that. So I don't think they've done any more.
Yeah. I think that's the kind of game that you're going to have to complete.
Yeah.
Because you'll never go back to it afterwards.
Yeah, I'm invested. Like I when my Ubisoft trial runs out, I'm buying it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, well, might have got a graphics card there that it comes included.
Are you going to buy it properly, or are you going to ask your uncle in Argentina?
I'll get it for free.
You're going to get it for free?
Yeah.
How?
From NVIDIA.
What?
It's one of those things where you buy a graphics card and they give you a free game.
Are they giving you Outlaws?
Yeah, I chose the one where it said, get Star Wars Outlaws. I was like, yes.
What? I've not heard of this.
Yeah.
This is a special PC thing.
Oh, yeah. PC, you always with PC upgrades, right? You know, any potential PS5 Pro listeners, get listening. Always, this has been going on for 20 years. You buy a component, whether that's a motherboard, a freaking hard drive, or, solid state, a graphics card, whatever it would be. There's deals that will pair up with manufacturers, like AMD's done this with this person, or currently NVIDIA are giving away like a choice of game or a specific game with a component. So, and it's always the most modern release. So it'll be like, buy this 4070 graphics card and get Star Wars Outlaws, which might have been what I've done.
That sounds very specific. Just like if you bought a 4070 and you get Star Wars Outlaws.
But it's always been the case. I've got many free games in the past from just doing a PC upgrade. And it's like, well, the game's like 70 quid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm going to say, in my mind, I'm going to buy the game anyway.
Yeah.
I might as well get this model of graphics card, which is going to give me the game for free. And then in my mind, I've saved that money off of the graphics card because I would have spent it anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Gamer's logic.
Yeah, game logic.
Yeah.
So there we go.
You need to tell me now what it is you bought and what you're doing, because the dear listeners need to know.
I'm setting up an eGPU for my LAX.
Oh, he's gone for it.
I was going for it.
Right,
yeah,
okay.
I was going for it.
What I was worried about, is that the LAX would come.
Yeah.
And it would open Pandora's box of Andy's PC nerd.
That I'd put a lid on.
You put a lid on, we padlocked it, the Nintendo Switch shut it firmly. Yeah. And I was like, cool, he's come back to the console world. Welcome back. Yes. But no, now it's eGPUs and it's...
Yeah, I dove back in. Yeah.
Setting up networks so you can stream from your PC to it.
Yeah.
So you're setting up an eGPU.
I am indeed, yeah. just because I love playing the Ally X handheld. It's brilliant. Like, I love that. It's fantastic. But something like Star Wars Outlaws, I'm like, I want to play on my 4K OLED. Do you know what I mean? Like, I want to play big screen. And I'm like, I've got a meaty PC, but I'm like, that's my editing PC, and I do have to stream it, and it's a faff. I have to go upstairs, keep that computer on.
It seems unnecessary.
And then sometimes, because we've got freaking smart everything in our house, like you get some like delay, like so that it will just chug for like 10 seconds once every 2 hours.
Yeah, too much traffic on that frequency.
And it's like, I don't want to go around, switch everything off, and then find out what's doing it. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm just going to turn the Ally X into the best Nintendo Switch ever. Do you know what I mean?
I love that. I love that.
So I was like, I'm going to build an eGPU, have that hooked up to my TV so that it's plugged into the TV, and then if I've got the TV to myself to play a game, I'm going to dock the Ally X with one cable into an eGPU, power the Ally X, get that to be all the CPU and RAM side, have the dedicated graphics card pumping out, 4K to my TV.
Are you going to keyboard and mouse it as well?
No.
Are you going to go full WASD?
No. Controller all the way. Yeah. That's what I've been doing with the streaming.
Yeah.
I mean, currently Windows sucks enough to not let you start with a controller, which is annoying. So I have a Logitech all-in-one keyboard and touchpad thing.
Oh wow!
So I just literally turn that on, log in, then I turn it off, and then I'm back on the controller, and I'm away to go. And the other good thing is when we all do our gaming sessions, right? Christina can play on the TV on the Xbox, and then I can just get a long HDMI from the eGPU to my little Arzopa portable screen, which we did a review on. Right, and then I can play at max settings on that with a controller.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
It's cool, isn't it?
I do. Isn't
that cool?
I know it's nerdy, but there's part of me that really loves the idea of turning the Ally X into the ultimate hybrid system.
Yeah, which is what it's going to be.
Like the pimped out Switch.
Yeah. You're going to get some performance loss over Thunderbolt 3, which is the enclosure I've gone for. But I mean,
Marginal.
It's still going to be better than any other experience.
So you put a 4070.
Yeah. I was going to go for a 4060 Ti with a 16 gig of RAM on that card, which is insane.
That's quite,
but compared to the 8 gig version, it's like £100 more, right? So I was like, well, I'll settle with a 4060 Ti 16 gig, even though it's more expensive for what it is. I was like, that's a really good card for 1080p max settings for years.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll go for that. And then I was looking into it because I ideally wanted a 4070 Super, but they're really expensive. And I was like, nah. I was like, I'm not paying that £200 jump. And I was just about to buy a 4060 Ti. Literally, I was going to click go, and that also came with Star Wars Outlaws. So I was just about to hit buy. I thought, a 4070 is still a thing, or have they been done out? Because I remember hearing that 4070s are going to get downgraded in the RAM and released quietly.
Really?
Yeah, NVIDIA instead of it being 6x RAM, it's just going to slower 6 RAM with no price difference. They're just going to roll them out. And I was like, oh, I wonder if the good ones are still left.
Yeah.
Typed in 4070. The jump from a 4060 Ti 16 gig to a 4070 12 gig was £30 for a 30% performance increase. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, yes, please.
And Star Wars Outlaws basically paid for it.
And Star Wars Outlaws comes free with it.
They paid for the upgrade.
Yeah. So I was like, there we go. But anyway, enough rambling. How was your weekend going?
Thanks very much for asking. Well, I've not been able to be at the studio in the evenings, which is where my PlayStation and Xbox are. So I've actually fully been able to embrace Ally X life, like handheld AAA gaming life.
Yes.
So rather than focusing on the bleeding edge of AAA gaming, I've been playing Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh yeah, it was so good.
It's so good. Literally every night I've been smashing Hi-Fi Rush.
I'm so glad.
I'd only ever played 10 minutes of it before, and this is a cool game, man. And obviously seen a lot of it when we do the videos and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's it's a game I want to play, and now it's there. I'm like, it's Game Pass, isn't it?
Exactly.
So I'll just play that. It's winning. It's so good. It's so much fun. It's one of those games you play with a smile on your face the whole time.
It is, isn't it? Yeah. Yes.
And it's the perfect balance of platform and action.
Yes.
I'll be honest, I've got no idea what the storyline is.
I've
not been
idea.
paying attention at all.
Some guy gets combined with his iPod or something.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
And now he's got a guitar.
And you're fighting. It's a it's a bit cliche.
I think the whole point is that it doesn't matter. It's just like a fun platformer
I've been
game.
skipping the cutscenes.
Love it.
When I don't engage with a story, I'm just like, I'll just skip this. I just want to play.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's really cool. And like what I particularly like about that game is that it harks back to a lot of what they used to do in old games really well. And that's laddering the skills and difficulty.
Yes.
So if you go right back to like the first like platformers on like the Genesis or the SNES and stuff, they were experts at laddering difficulty, and basically the first couple of levels are designed to teach you how to play the game.
Yeah, and then it gets progressively
hard, and then they might introduce a new mechanism on the third level. Hi-Fi Rush does that so well.
Oh, really? I'm still only like...
Oh, you layer in like different abilities, like you've got like parries a little bit later on. You've got time the parries,
nice.
And then you've got like you can call in like assistants and stuff, and you've got different characters that you can bring in.
Oh, that's cool. I'm not that far in.
So like you start off and you're basically just using like the movement controls, jump, and then like 2 attacks at the start.
Yes, yeah.
And then I don't know, like 5 hours in, then you get the B button is unlocked as parry, and then a little bit later on, like the shoulder buttons are then unlocked as other things.
Nice.
Like, they layer it so well that it's hard enough that you will die and have to restart, like we were talking about. You will struggle at things, but not too hard that it's inaccessible.
Yes. Yeah.
And by the time it gets difficult, you've learnt a lot. And you're just playing it with a smile on your face the whole time, and that's seldom these days that there's that much enjoyment from a game. I think the most recent thing that looks like it's going to be that is Astro Bot.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I'd love to play that.
Yeah, I've watched a fair bit of gameplay from it now, and it just looks phenomenally fun.
Yeah, it looks amazing. Yeah, and I heard someone saying from like clicking on the game to actually playing the game was like 3 minutes or something.
Perfect.
Like, so you're just immediately
straight
in the game.
Into it, yeah.
Like, you're not sat Final Fantasy 3 weeks watching a movie, like waiting to play, and then you take 3 steps. Oh, look, I'm into another movie. Do you know what I mean? It's like, no, I'm straight in playing, and it's that kind of Mario kind of. It's a Nintendo thing.
It's so Nintendo.
You just play. Like,
I'm glad to see PlayStation doing it.
Yeah,
because there's just a severe lack of that on PlayStation. Yeah. It's. I think we've even talked about it before, but it's everything. It represents everything that PlayStation should be.
Yeah,
and not like necessarily cute, fun games.
No,
but really super enjoyable single player experiences.
Solid games. Yeah,
solid games. Like narrative driven games. Their distraction with making live service stuff is beyond me.
Yeah, why? Don't even get in on that. We've said that, I think, on the previous podcast. Whatever. Don't even bother. Do none of them. Just focus on single player.
I think it was a year ago or so that they said they came out and they had in the works 7 live service games that they're going to focus on.
Cancelled.
Well, you've had what was it called? Destruction All Stars. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah, good. There's no reason to remember it. I'm certain it got shut down straight away, or it's dead now and it had a very short life. And then the second one was obviously
Concord. Yeah, which, like the Concorde, is now out of action.
Oh, God. That's not a great reference.
Yeah. Didn't they just shut it down?
It had a massive crash.
Oh, did it?
Yeah,
okay.
Loads of people died.
Oh, that's not good. I thought they were redoing it. Yeah, okay. Well, there you go then. Well, it kind of fits.
It wasn't equally a disaster, yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, that is hilarious. And I saw a really great meme. I shared it with you. And it was just a graph of like PlayStation failing, PlayStation succeeding, and it was Concorde, PlayStation failing, Astro Bot, PlayStation succeeding, PS5 Pro, PlayStation failing.
Yes, yeah, and it went down lower than where it was for Concorde. Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, Astro Bot strikes me as peak PlayStation.
That's exactly what. Yeah, I'd want.
And do you know what? I think there's a really important lesson in it. Not just that people want enjoyable, story-driven experiences, but that console gamers on a whole don't really care about, like, in the same way that PC players care about like super fine details. Do you know what I'm getting at?
Okay, yeah.
It's told out by Mark Cerny in his technical presentation. PlayStation players choose performance mode over fidelity mode 3/4 of the time.
Yes. Yeah.
It was like 60 to 70% of the time. It was around 3/4.
I think he said 3/4 of the time. Yeah, I don't think he gave a percentage.
I may be wrong, and if I am wrong, tell me in the comments. But I'm almost certain, and it's one of the reasons why the Switch did so well, is that on the whole, you go into it and you go, as long as it looks good, I just want to have a fun time.
Yes.
The whole point is it's easy. I just turn it on, have a fun time. Yeah, this looks good.
Yeah.
Have a fun time.
Yeah.
Whereas when you move into the PC side of things and you're trying to get the bleeding edge, the next percentile out of either frame rates or fidelity, shadows aren't looking right, or there's some popping, I'm going to go and tweak my settings. You're more concerned with, I want this to be the absolute pinnacle of performance experience that I can get out of it.
Yeah, I get you.
More than console players are.
I don't know if I'd agree with that. Like, because I feel like Xbox and PlayStation have been PC's little brothers. Do you know what I mean? Like, the whole, like, Nintendo has always been, you can have that. We'll play at 1440, 144p. You know, as long as the games are fun. Like, we don't care what it looks like. It can look like a bleary mess, because most of it is. But the games are incredible. PlayStation and Xbox have always been bleeding edge. It's just they fell short when they advertised themselves as being 8K and
120 FPS.
Yeah, it's like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
Like, we could tell from the specs at launch that you were not going to hit any of that.
No.
So don't advertise as that. Change tack. Say it's the best looking thing ever, and render out or upscale to 1440p at 60 locked in. If that had happened and you never got a performance or a fidelity mode and it was all just 1440p 60, everything would be different than it is right now.
Yeah.
They're always pushing and striving for 4K 60, leads to the blurry mess, but people are choosing that because it's unplayable at 30 half the time.
Yeah, it's
you know? I think people do care. I think all the PlayStation fans and Xbox fans really care about the fidelity, but because fidelity is basically not unplayable, people are then choosing performance just out of necessity, because there's no way of playing, well, until the PS5 Pro, but there's no way of actually getting that. But I agree with you in a sense that Astro Bot kind of shows that people don't really care for realistic graphics.
Or maybe it doesn't matter as much to the actual enjoyment of the game.
Yes, and that again is proven by Nintendo, which is why Sony copied Nintendo's homework to make Astro Bot. They did, didn't they? They just ripped off Mario and went, yeah, there you go.
I mean, the character's been around for a long time. There's loads of iterations. Not as long as Mario. Definitely not, no.
And also, do you say Mario or Mario? Because
that's a great debate.
There's a big debate about that.
Mario.
Yeah, it's Mario.
Yeah. Mario.
He doesn't say it's a me Mario, does he?
And the it's a me thing.
Yeah.
All right.
That's not real either, is it?
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Yeah.
It came up as like a video on YouTube or something, and it kind of blew my mind that what Itsumi means.
Yeah.
It's super.
Yeah.
It means super.
It doesn't actually, though.
Does it not?
No,
even that's made up.
Yeah, that's made up again. It's all a lie. It's all a lie.
What does Itsumi mean then?
Nothing. Oh, it doesn't actually translate to super if you actually translate that.
That's even better.
So it's a me Mario. If you look at all the game manuals and stuff for the game, it's a me Mario, because he's Italian. But people are trying to like meme people into the fact that, oh look, it's Japanese because it's Sumi.
Yeah.
No, it's a me
I was
Mario.
conned by that.
I was for like a day or two. I think we even spoke about it. I was like, oh my god, like and then I looked into it a bit more. I was like, oh no, that's all right.
So you don't say Mario, do you?
I don't say Mario, no.
Is that an American thing?
Yeah, I think so.
When are they going to start learning to speak English properly?
Oh, shots fired. We love you, really.
I'm jealous, actually. I'm jealous because you can buy things cheaper.
That's so true. It's so true. Like the PS5 Pro.
Yeah, well, before we touch on that.
Yes.
PlayStation have been, since the new CEO took over, their drive has been to increase their margins.
Yes.
And I think it was even said as much in their kind of business stuff. Like their margins are painfully small. So the drive has been to increase it. And we've seen like incremental little nudges on pricing.
Yeah.
Very recently, like the day before the PS5 Pro, we saw the DualSense controller go up by $5.
Yeah, what? Like just randomly.
So that's $75. The price increase hasn't happened in the UK yet.
No.
But I'm expecting it to go to £75.
Probably, yeah.
The week before, we saw the third price rise for the PlayStation 5 in Japan.
Wow.
which took the PlayStation 5 in Japan to an equivalent of $550. I think around 535,
something like that. Yeah,
around 550. So even that's hellishly expensive for PlayStation 5. So we've seen these like little nudges, these incremental increases. We see just the hardware in itself feeling like it's a bit overpriced.
Yes.
And then obviously we saw the PS5.
Wow.
The other before I really dig into it, the thing that's kind of upsetting with what PlayStation do over what most other manufacturers do is they're doing what Apple are doing, and they're pricing in dollars and pounds equally.
I hate that.
When it's not an equal currency.
But they change it for like yen and stuff because, otherwise it would be like ridiculous.
But if you convert any of the other foreign currencies to what the dollar amount is, it's always way higher in other territories than it is in America, which is a slightly peculiar one.
I don't understand their thinking. Why don't they just take, okay, it's going to be $700 and then convert it to each region and then give what it actually should be and take into account taxes and VAT
yes, of course.
All that kind of stuff. But it's still way out. So it's like they just go, just.
I've got a really good one. I know I wasn't going to get into it straight away, but we're there. So
it's fine. Let's talk about the negatives first.
We'll come back to it. But just while we're talking about pounds to dollars thing on PlayStation hardware, the price of the PS5 Pro and the disk drive in the UK works out at $1,045.
Wow.
In the US,
is that including the stand?
I actually don't know.
Probably is.
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah. In the US, it works out at $818.
Yeah.
Including tax.
Yeah.
So the big argument's always, well, the UK price includes the VAT, but in America, quite often it doesn't include the sales tax. So that calculation's done of PS5 Pro, disk drive, and sales tax included.
Yes.
It's almost a $250 difference cheaper
ridiculous.
In the US. The only thing I can think the justification is it increases their margins, obviously.
Yeah.
But also the dominance of PlayStation in the European market is far greater than any other territory.
Yeah, so they're just like, they'll pay it.
Yeah. Because there's no competition.
Yeah.
Xbox in Europe is so far behind.
Yes. Well, that's what PlayStation said. They said because there's no competition,
they can just get away with it.
Yeah.
Which is exactly what Apple do.
Yes.
Yeah. For what they offer, there's no competition.
No.
So they can just get away with it. They've made their own ecosystem.
Yeah.
They don't even think like they're next to PC. They're just Apple.
Yeah, they're
PlayStation
just Apple.
Don't even think like they're next to
and
Xbox.
they don't even realize how like outdated they are. They go, check out this new feature, and it's like, wow, okay, Android's had that for 10 years.
Yeah,
like cool.
PC players have had that forever.
All right,
what are you talking about?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? So yeah,
so there's no competition, so they can just get away with it, and that feels abusive.
It's dirty, isn't it?
Well, we're getting a really bum deal. $1,045 for the PS5 Pro and disc drive. Now, in America, you guys in America, and I know the majority of people are that watch and listen to pretty much anything on YouTube, but especially this show, would you pay $1,045 for the PS5 Pro?
Forget that it's actually $700. Yeah. If they launched it at $1,050, would you buy that?
What would the reaction be? I've seen the negative reaction already.
Obviously from 700.
Yeah, from 700. Now imagine it's 1,000. You'd be
over 1,000. Yeah.
You're like, no way. That's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. Hello, PC.
That's the problem. So I'll move away from the pricing for a minute. We'll come back to it.
Wow.
PlayStation 5 Pro. It happened.
It did happen.
It happened.
Yep.
I did a news video on it straight away because I was bowl over, and I think my opening line was, is it only me or if PlayStation lost their minds?
Yes.
I cannot believe it.
No, yeah. We were like dumbfounded.
It's like a couple of days on. By the time this goes out, it's like a week on.
Yes.
I still am dumbfounded by the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, the whole thing for me is like, what? Like in several ways, including the pricing.
We're at the pricing. We're just going to have to talk about it. I wanted to leave the pricing.
Let's start with the pricing. I wanted
to start with positives.
Let's start with the negatives.
We'll start with the negatives and move to the positives then.
Oh, good.
Sod it.
Yes. I like this. I like being angry.
Ranty.
I like being angry.
Let's get angry.
Yeah. Let's do it.
We have said on multiple occasions that there was this unspoken threshold price ceiling for games consoles.
Yes. And what was yours?
500.
500, yeah.
Right? And I was certain that it wouldn't break that because it's because of who the audience is.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was trying to get at, and I articulated it in a slightly club-handed way that console players aren't PC players. It's kind of my point.
Yeah. No, I get
the budgets are different.
The budget's not there.
The what you're expecting from the machine is totally different. And how you engage with the machine is totally different.
Yes.
A console is an extension of your TV.
Yeah.
It's something you have in your lounge. It's for simplistic playing of good games in a simple way.
Yeah.
And some certain exclusives that used to not be available other places.
with expected performance. You know you're going to turn it on, get the latest game,
do you know what it is?
And it's going to run.
It's McDonald's.
Yes, that's yeah.
Look, McDonald's isn't the best restaurant around. It's not the best food around. We all know it's a bit crap.
Yeah.
Right? But no one's ever got food poisoning from it. So you go there, right, and you expect like a certain, no matter which one you go to, you know it's going to be this good.
The standard, yeah.
It'll be all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get McDonald's. That's fine.
Yes.
It's not going to make me poorly. It'll be okay. And it's cheap.
Yes.
Functional.
Yes.
That's consoles.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's very, very true.
Yeah, it's just it's functional. You'll get an all right experience.
Yes. You know what you're getting.
You know what you're getting.
Yeah. And it's the same every time.
And it's accessible.
Yes.
That's the whole point. It's accessible.
Yes.
So in my mind, that 500 mark, bar like there's some, I don't know, you have like some edition that's got a certain accessory or a certain size drive, but that's a kind of ceiling. And maybe as inflation changes, that ceiling will move up a little bit.
Yeah.
But nothing had come that close to breaking it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I think that's the really shocking thing with this price is that it's such a huge leap. It's such a departure from where we were.
True, but you've got to remember the PS3 launch.
Yeah, okay, PS3 launch.
Because that was expensive. Like, I remember that.
It was $778. 2000. This is adjusted for inflation.
I was going to say adjusted for inflation. So I think it launched at $600, $500.
There was two models at launch, though, wasn't there?
Yes.
And here's the thing: there was the 20 gig model and the 60 gig model PS3, but the 60 gig model was very special. Probably the best PlayStation that's ever been launched.
Why is that?
Because you could play PS1 and PS2 games on it.
Yes.
Fully backwards compatible with the whole generation of
And that's why they're still sought after.
Oh, they're hard to get as well.
Yeah, because they only made them on that run.
Yeah, and then they discontinued it.
Yes.
And I think they discontinued it partly. There were some hardware issues that it had, but also the reaction. There was this kind of like vitriol surrounding its pricing.
Yes. Yeah, of course.
And eventually they listened and
just dumbed it down for everybody. Yeah. But that, was more, it was justified. But going back to the pricing, we've not really seen anything like this.
No.
But Sony are known for testing the waters with stuff.
Yeah.
Look at the PS Vita. They hiked the price on that, like so outrageous. And with all the accessories, the proprietary stuff that they had. And then they eventually had to bring the price down because no one was buying it.
Yeah.
So they brought the price down. They even tried it in a similar vein of like turning servers off for stuff. People revolted. Oh, okay. Well, look, we always planned to keep them online. We were just testing you.
Yeah, that's just how it is.
Yeah, of course. So there's always been this kind of like, they've always pushed the boundary. Do you know what I mean? Like, you want to pay this much? No.
Do you know, we were joking about it before when all the leaks were happening. We knew the PS5 Pro was going to be announced. Everyone was kind of like, it was nailed on.
Yeah.
They even did a really stupid thing and their unlisted video.
Yeah, it was called PS5 Pro.
It was called PS5 Pro for a couple of hours. You idiots.
Yeah.
So we all know what's going to happen. So we were talking about it. We were talking about it in the Discord to our channel members as well. And it was like price predictions and stuff. And you're kind of joking, going, $599.
I said 700.
You said 700. We had joked about 700 before as like a throwaway.
Yes.
Would it be funny if it's 700?
Yes.
I was kind of like, they're going to break that threshold.
Yeah.
Because it's PlayStation, like you say. And you're absolutely right. They're always pushing what's possible here.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe 550 to 599.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a sensible answer.
Sensible price. Because we know it's not going to be a backwards compatible machine because they don't care about that. They're kind of focused on, we've got the PS Classics catalog that you can get digitally.
Yeah, great.
That's no good to anyone.
Yeah.
okay, so you've got this. It's not going to be that, and it's going to be a marginal bump in performance, maybe form factor as well. $599 seems fair.
Yeah.
The problem I have is that it's such a big leap, and that's why I think it's so shocking to everyone.
And I also think you need to look at the PS4 to see how big of a shock factor this is.
Yes.
Because it's shocking that the PS4 is still around. That's the first shock.
Yeah.
The second shock is that when the PS4 Pro came out, it launched at the price.
It's PS4 price.
Of the PS4.
Yeah, and they dropped the PS4 price.
Which is a winning move.
Well, and that's the other thing with this pricing, midpoint pricing change. Every generation of PlayStation since the PS1 has had a midpoint refresh of some kind.
Yeah.
Even the PlayStation, it was called PlayStation. Then they brought out the PS1, which is
slim,
the smaller version. Yeah,
the little Pebble.
Yeah, the little Pebble, and they had you could get the screen accessory and stuff for it.
Yeah.
But as soon as that happened, they always dropped the price of the launch model.
Yes, like PS2 Slim.
I remember being a kid, and I bought that PlayStation when the midpoint happened, and the price dropped, and they dropped it to I think it was 160. It was really attainable all of a sudden.
Yes.
So me and my brother clubbed together and we bought it.
Yeah.
So that's always happened. Every generation. PS2, you had the Slim, the PS2.
Yes,
that
down
one,
there.
down there.
I was just
PS2
looking
Slim.
at it,
That came out, and the original PlayStation 2 then dropped in price.
And,
PS3
and the original 1 was still there, and it dropped in price.
Yes,
because I bought my PlayStation 1, the Pebble, for £99. £99. I remember buying that.
So every generation it's happened, and every generation when that refresh happens, the original model gets dropped in price. So I think that was the other surprise was I don't think any of us were expecting them to launch the PS5 Pro at the PS5 price.
I wasn't expecting it to be PS5 price. I was expecting the PS5 to drop in price, and then it be somewhere in between.
Yes,
so that it would be around that 550 mark. So it's more, but not crazy more. And if you want the original one, well, then that's less.
Yeah.
But no, no, they didn't do that.
Such a monumental leap, and I think that's why that's the just general shock from everyone.
Yes,
no one was expecting it to be anywhere near that.
No, a lot more than we expected.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's because the internet's an echo chamber because it is a certain amount, but
yes,
I've not seen anyone defending it
because there's not really anything to defend there. It's a pro upgrade. Yeah. It's not the PS6.
No.
Do you know what I mean? This isn't next gen.
No.
Arguably, we were saying this off camera, this could have been PS6.
They could have done that. Yeah.
They could have held on to this.
Yep.
And launched it next year and just gone, you know what? PS5 sucked. It didn't have any games anyway because we only made PS4 games. Here's the PS6. And they could have, because we know Xbox are going to be doing their next gen.
They're doing it early as well.
Yeah. Which is why they're not doing a Pro for the series. So they could have gone, we'll follow suit. Do you know what I mean? But they haven't. So they've dropped a Pro model at 700, which also, I'm just going to put it out there, is what the hell does this mean for the PlayStation 6?
Oh my God. I'm genuinely concerned about that.
Yeah.
Genuinely concerned. There's no way the PS6 is going to be cheaper than that.
No, can't be. It can't be now. You've set the bar.
The bar.
The PS6 has got to be better than the PS5 Pro. Otherwise, what's the point? So it's got to be better.
So where does this stop?
Where does it stop? And also, we've seen the Xbox Series X and S and how the S is holding back the X.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Well, now you've got that with PlayStation. You've got the PS5 and now you've got the Pro, which is that much better that you're now going to be holding back people with original hardware. Yeah,
definitely.
So that's why I feel like it should have just been a PS6. Do you know what I mean?
I think there would have been as much of an angry reaction if it was a 6, though, because of its so short a life.
Well,
I think there would be an angry reaction to it.
Well, then just don't bother. Do you know what I mean? They made the Slim.
I thought the Slim was going to be the midpoint refresh until all the rumours started that they're working on a Pro.
Yeah.
I was like, the Slim will be it, because that's what they've done before.
Yes.
This much of a huge increase. Well, I guess we saw it with the PS4 Pro, didn't we?
Yeah.
The PS4 Pro was a genuine worthy upgrade, and
I bought it.
Yeah, it genuinely was.
Yeah.
Even after the PS5 launched, the first year of PS5, I was tempted to get a PS4 Pro because you couldn't get a 5.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll just upgrade to the Pro, and it was still pretty good.
Yes.
It was the first time you could play in 4K on the PlayStation.
Yep.
So that was like a huge leap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, that seems worthy, and the price was the same as the PS4 at launch, so it felt really fair. Now, they're not in the business to worry about our feelings and to worry about fairness.
No.
They're definitely in the business now of maximizing their profit margins.
But also, you've got to think back with the PS4 Pro being the first like Pro model.
Yeah.
Was a direct reflection of how big PC gaming was getting.
Yeah.
So they purposefully did the Pro model, and the same with Xbox. They both had one. They did that because of how many people were going to PC. So it is a reflection of PC gaming.
Yeah.
And that's why I was kind of saying earlier when you asked me about, do you think people actually care about like, you know, graphical settings and stuff? They clearly do for enough for both Microsoft and Sony to put a Pro model out mid-gen refresh to try and to stop people from going to PC. Do you know what I mean? And that's essentially what this is. They're trying to bridge that gap even more again to give, you know.
Well, when you talk about pricing then, they've made that probably unexpectedly more difficult for themselves.
Yes, exactly.
To take advantage of the PS5 Pro, you need to buy a stand, which is £30, is it?
Yes, here in the UK, £30.
£30, which if you were to convert that to a dollar amount is close to 50.
Yeah, but in America, of course, it's $30.
$30, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
So I want everyone who may be on PlayStation side on this to just take our frame of reference in the UK on how expensive this is in pounds.
Yes.
And if you were to convert that to dollars. So the stand is close to $50.
Yeah, just for a piece of plastic.
That's pretty extreme, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, but to fully take advantage of it, you need that. Obviously, you need the console itself. You need the disc drive.
Yeah.
I don't know the exact number. I wish they released the statistics in the same way Nintendo do of physical versus digital. But I bet there's a large amount of PS5 players that buy physical games.
Absolutely, because collectors and all sorts.
Exactly that.
And it's the way that you go to a bricks and mortar store on release and pick up the game. Do you know what I mean? Like
collector's editions and all these things. And you think how much of a poster child Rebirth, yes, bingo card time, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth was for the PS5 originally, and how much of a poster child it is for the Pro as well.
Yeah, and how many people have got the current gen PlayStation or the original PlayStation with disc drive that's now got a load of PlayStation 5 games that want to upgrade to a Pro and don't have a disc drive.
So now you have to
buy
you're
forced,
which is £100.
It's £100. So that's like what, $150?
Yeah,
for a disc drive, which you're going to be forced to. And let's just put this in perspective. This is the Pro.
Yep.
This is meant to be the top end. You know, dogs nudges. It's meant to be balls to the wall.
Yeah.
And it doesn't come with a disc drive. What?
It's insane. So you get into dollars amount. We know from Tom, was it Tom Warren, Verge guy?
Yes.
Saying if you convert it to dollars, it's $1,045. PS5 Pro with a disc drive, right? So for most PS5 players that want to enjoy their previous PS5 games, they're spending $1,000.
Mm-hmm.
You are in PC territory squarely, whether you want to be there or not.
And to really affirm like that is you're buying the Pro.
Yeah.
You want the Pro experience.
You want the best experience they can offer me, please.
So now I want the DualSense Edge. I want the Pro controller.
Oh, yes, that's £200.
£200, which is close to $300 for a controller, right? And bear in mind, when Xbox did the whatever the previous one was, One X?
The One X.
Something, I don't know.
Yeah.
The Xbox One Pro, whatever that was. They included that.
Yeah.
They included the Pro controller, which is a separate purchase, because it's the Pro model.
Yeah,
it's
you
like,
expect
this
it to
is
be
the
the
good
best.
one. Like, oh yeah, I'm getting everything good. They don't even give you a DualSense Edge with the PS5 Pro as like a thank you for spending $700.
No.
So if you were to put that into perspective, you're probably spending over $1,200.
They give you a DualSense controller of all its stick drift disgustingness.
1 minute battery life.
Yeah. So you're spending $1,000
minimum,
right?
Yeah.
You are in PC pricing range now.
Yeah.
Admittedly, you're looking at some entry-level components in that. You're not looking at some of the best PC components you can buy, but you proved it to me. I didn't think you could. I was like, I don't think you can build a PC for that much.
Yeah, and we were talking pounds. If you're in dollars, if you've got $1,200, let's say you're getting the controller as well, right?
Yeah.
So now you've got $1,200. You can get a really good gaming PC for $1,200. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And backwards convert that to UK. What's that? Like a grand? And you can absolutely do that.
So here is my point on who is this for and what do gamers care about?
Yes.
Because we're either not fussed about building a PC ourselves.
Yes.
In which case we're just more casual gamers. We just want to turn a console on and play. Okay. Or we are fussed about the bleeding edge.
Yes.
In which case we're probably all right with building a PC, but it was the price that put us off.
Yes. Yeah. And that's where you said to me when you saw $700 and you said, well, you can't really get into PC gaming for that. And I said, hang on.
Yeah. So let me try.
I'll do it. So my intention was to build one. Yeah. So I was going to get all the components and be like, I can build this PC. And we looked at the equivalent graphics card to the PS5 Pro because I wanted the equivalent. We'll go into that more a bit later, but there was an equivalent AMD card, whatever it was, the 7600 XT or something like that.
Something like that.
Right. So I was like, I'm basing it off of that.
Yeah.
And then I went, actually, I'm not going to build it myself because we're looking at people for convenience.
Maybe someone who can build it for me.
Let's look at pre-made system, pre-built system. So I can go on now, hit buy now, it's there tomorrow. Right. And I Googled it, and for £700, you could literally buy a PC with that same graphics card and with everything. The motherboard, do you know what I mean? It was like 16 gigs of RAM.
What are we doing here?
The only thing you're missing then, and I saw this argument on Twitter with someone saying, well, you can build PCs for that. They're like, no, because you need a monitor, you need a mouse and keyboard, you need a desk.
You need a TV.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Still need a TV.
You realise most people have a television.
Yeah.
Like you would for a game console.
Yeah.
And the only thing you would need is a keyboard and mouse. You can literally buy wireless little dongle things, which is like a BlackBerry keyboard with a touchpad on the top for less than £10 on Amazon.
Right.
Because all you need to do is sign in.
Yeah.
Then you can be on controller.
Yeah.
So that argument's invalid.
Yeah.
But yeah. So you are in PC land already.
So who's it for?
Well, that's it.
Who's it for? Because if you care about the bleeding edge of performance, then you're in the PC price range now. So you might as well buy a PC,
which you can upgrade and it'll be relevant for years.
Exactly that. You can change the components within it. You can upgrade it. You can play the majority of all the PlayStation games you would want to play because they're released on PC.
Yes.
And guess what? You can play all the other games that are in the Steam library.
Yes.
All the other launchers that exist.
Yes.
Oh, and you can play all the Xbox games too.
And Game Pass.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you could play everything.
You could play everything.
And you can emulate. You could do all sorts. You would open up Pandora's box to be able to be doing anything. Oh, and you can also work on it or study if you want to too.
So here's the thing: is the argument about logic or emotion?
Yes, yeah.
It's basically what we're talking about. Because if there's no logic to this at all,
no, pricing wise, no. Yeah. I mean, like in use, I totally get the reason we have that slight difference where you would rather stay console and I'd
gravitate
rather
towards
be
console,
PC, just because of that pure convenience, which is why we love the Ally X, of the fact that you turn it on, you straight into Army Crate, just hit your game, done.
Yeah,
it is like a console-like experience, right? Whereas general PCs, you will need to have some understanding, like real basic understanding. People have like taken what I'm saying here in other videos and gone, oh, you're like over-egging it, you know?
Yeah, it's not
like,
hard. Windows isn't hard.
Yeah, it's like you're talking to people like they're idiots. It's like, no, I don't mean to be condescending, but there is a level of, oh, the driver's out of date, why is it crashing? Do you know what I mean? Like there's going to be something that you're going to encounter which is going to require research to a minimal degree, like a Google. What is error code blah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, update done. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be very, very simple. But with the console, you completely avoid all that. You turn it on, it's done, and away you go.
But the console was out of date the day you buy it.
Yeah, well, that's true. And it will be for the next few years. Yeah. Oh, and the last thing to put on the PC front to add to your lovely list of everything you can play, all the games are cheaper.
So
same games,
much cheaper.
And
PlayStation sale currently on Steam
right now. They went
75% off.
Don't buy the PS5 Pro. Buy a PC. All our games are on sale.
I got the news story came out that there was a Steam Deck sale going on Steam.
Yes.
And they were just getting rid of some of the old stock, the LCD models.
And I was trying to tempt you with the PlayStation sale. I was like, look, you can play on the PlayStation game.
I was looking at it, I was like, no way. You can get the 64 gig LCD Steam Deck. I know it's the baby model. It was like 260 quid or something, wasn't it?
It was cheap.
It's like, that's cheap, man. That's cheap. So cheap. And then you went, have a look at this. PlayStation sale banner. And it's like all the IPs that you play on PlayStation.
On sale.
75% off or something, wasn't it?
Well, up to,
Yeah. Well, whatever that means. But there's not that many to choose from. So one of them's going to be really cheap.
yeah, exactly, yeah. But they were all discounted, like I think minimum 20% off.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But so that's another benefit of PC. But just to confirm, like go back to my point of, I totally understand people just want to hear the beep and
you're on.
be gaming.
Yeah.
Or, you could be on Xbox, hear the beep, and quick resume any game
and
you play.
load into the game.
And you're immediately in the game rather than having to wait for it to load. But that's,
we're not going to talk about Xbox because we'll just get shot down.
Yeah. we love all consoles here. That's the thing.
I really do.
I love the PlayStation so much I sold it.
Wow, that's a lot of love.
It was, yeah.
But would you buy this?
Here lies the difficult question. Because I am a PC nerd. I do like shiny things.
Yeah, we all like shiny new things.
I just bought an eGPU. Which, if you looked at the prices of those things, this argument's totally invalid. But, it's difficult because we will talk about the positives of the PS5.
We might as well get there.
Okay.
Because I can feel you're leaning on it.
I'm leaning on it because ultimately, price aside, this is the biggest generational leap in console gaming.
It's huge.
This has broken the gap between console and PC.
Yeah.
Like no other. We were close before with the Xbox and the PlayStation 5. Like the latest
Especially
generation.
The Series X was very close.
Very close, yeah. But the PS5 Pro, forget price. Let's pretend like we're all millionaires. Oh. Someone just farted in our ears. That
was weird.
It was very strange, but maybe it was Sony are listening in.
It's a phantom.
It's Sony. Okay. But yeah, so let's pretend we're all millionaires.
Yeah.
Money's no object, or we all just get gifted it for free.
Yeah.
This is going to be the best experience ever because I've hated fidelity and performance because I'm on the line.
Yeah.
Like I said earlier, I for some games I can deal with 30 FPS because I want it to look good.
Well, I look at my favourite game of all time. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I was going to say Bomberman.
And fidelity mode was beautiful.
Yeah.
It looked amazing. I was like, this is unreal.
Yeah.
Until you touch a control. It didn't get... They say 30 FPS. It was nowhere near.
Yeah.
There was moments where it was under 20. It must have been under 20. When you can see it stuttering, you're like, this is bad.
I think it's down to frame pacing.
So, it might be,
So it's 29. So there was 29 frames in the first millisecond.
Yeah.
And then a massive gap before the last frame.
Yeah.
So it's still 30 FPS.
Yes.
It's just the frame pacing's out. So it feels real juddery and horrible, So they might not have been lying, but maybe they were lying about the frame pacing.
That's actually a really good point. Performance mode was the only way you can actually have it a playable experience, but it looked like Vaseline was all over the screen. It was horrid. It
looked disgusting.
But do you know what? That thing about not caring, I cared a lot.
Yes.
Until I was in the game.
Yeah.
And then I'm just playing it.
Yeah.
I'm just in there.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just having fun.
Deal with it.
Just deal with it.
Yeah.
You forget about it really quickly.
I can deal with that, like I said earlier, on handhelds.
Yeah.
Because there's a you're playing a handheld. Do you know what I mean?
It's a 7-8 inch screen, isn't it?
So you can deal with the fact that the tech's almost there, but not quite.
Yeah.
But on a if I'm spending out on a console, even base level PS5, I want the best experience. And this is where I was going with screw 4K should have just been the 1440p console.
100%.
Because then it would have looked amazing and you wouldn't have had all this rubbish of performance and fidelity. You could have been in the middle.
Yeah.
Even on PC, I game at 1440p, so I can get way more frames per second.
But PC players understand this.
Yes, but console players might not.
Because it's not on the box.
Yes, and they don't care a lot of the time.
No.
Do you know what I mean? You want the game to look as good as it can and play as well, and this is where I was going at. If Sony didn't just got all the jargon gone, just 1440p, 60 locked on every game, I think everyone would have thought this generation was really good.
100% agree with that.
So I feel like that should have been the way, and now we're kind of getting there. And imagine now, right? Delete your memory of Rebirth in performance mode. Imagine if the PS5 Pro was what launched the PS5.
Oh, wow.
Which it should have been.
Yeah, it should. Yeah, totally should have been.
Yeah. Imagine now your experience of Rebirth, a game that you've waited how long to play?
Oh, it was 4 years, wasn't it?
Yeah. And then, think back to the original. 30 years.
Oh, 30 years. This is how I was imagining it as a
exactly.
kid.
And now, imagine your experience playing Rebirth on the PS5 Pro as your first ever experience.
Yeah.
It would have been mind-blowing.
Mind-blowing.
You know, it would have been incredible.
It's that moment that we've talked about a lot on this podcast, that there hasn't been something that feels like a generational leap for the PlayStation yet, or even Xbox as well.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been it.
Yes,
like absolutely. You say, 1440, 60 FPS locked in.
Yes.
It would have looked great.
Yes.
And it would have played beautifully.
Yes.
If they had managed to implement some of the either driver or hardware level kind of supporting features that we're now seeing elsewhere, upscaling, variable refreshing, like if they had those features in it, you'd be like, this is unreal.
Yeah. Because PlayStation 5 does have like VRR support, but not LFC, not low frame rate
compensation.
I can't speak. What Xbox does.
Yeah.
But PlayStation doesn't. So unless you're within the VRR bracket of your screen,
it just goes nah. Can't help you.
Then you've got a problem.
Which is where fidelity mode really struggled because it was getting obviously below the threshold.
Exactly. So now the PS5 Pro erases all that.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like this should have been the PS5.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be Pro. This is just now we're into real PS5. It's everything they promised. 4K 60 gaming, 8K. Do you know what I mean? Like now we're there.
Can we just for a minute? All of us, everyone who cares about this, just tweet at Sony. Stop saying 8K. No one's got an 8K TV. Nobody cares about 8K, and you definitely can't do it. Why are you saying it?
I would say this one can now with Pisser. Yeah.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
What in 720?
I think GT7, Gran Turismo 7, I think now is actually supported in 8K with the PS5 Pro. I think they confirmed that.
It'll
be 30 FPS.
Wait until you see it.
And it'll be upscaled. But
upscaling it. Okay.
Well, it's still the PS5 Pro to hit 4K 60 is still upscaling.
It's going to be upscaling it. But probably upscaling it from 4040. Like
maybe might still be 1080, but just with Pisser, it'll be that good.
The 8K thing, just get in the sea with it.
Yeah.
The problem with the 8K thing is why they wouldn't have said 1440 on the box because they said 4K on the PS4 Pro.
Yes, so they didn't want to backtrack.
And they want the next generation to look like. On paper, it's easy to understand it's better.
Take the resolution off. No one cares.
Nobody cares. We just all assume.
Yes.
And a lot of people now have 4K TVs, but I still would reckon the majority of people are still playing on 1080 screen.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and the other thing with we talk about resolution and frame rates, this obsession with hitting 120 in the technical presentation. Firstly, how many have got a screen that's going to be able to refresh that quickly?
Who's got a TV?
120 hertz?
Yeah.
I doubt it.
Only the hardcores, and they've got a PC.
Yes, exactly that. And also, we know it's probably not that likely to hit it.
No one is. Unless you're playing indie games, you ain't hitting 120.
Yeah, you're going to be hitting 60 should be your target.
Yeah.
Everyone's screen can hit it.
Yes.
Your machine can now definitely do it.
Yes.
So just say that.
Yeah.
And pin your flag to the mast and be really proud. We have the best 4K 60 experience on a console ever.
Yes.
Do you know what?
Yes.
I know you're being honest, and I know that's true.
Yes, yeah.
And yes, that will be an amazing experience.
I totally think they should have just done away with it.
Yeah.
Don't even say what resolution it is.
No.
Like let the nerds figure it out.
Yeah, let Digital Foundry figure it out.
Exactly. And I'd love that. Yeah. Because that'd be cool. But on the box, just take it away. I'm looking at the PlayStation box behind you. Yeah. It doesn't say what resolution it is. Don't need to. It's just
the PS1.
PlayStation.
No way. Yeah. No.
So it doesn't need to because you know the fun's there.
Yeah.
And seeing these numbers and them not being able to reach it takes the fun out.
Oh, it just makes us all question what else are they lying about?
Which is what the PS5 was. Because you're constantly having to tie up between these freaking modes.
They silently took 8K off the box on the PS5, didn't they?
They got the eraser out. Went.
Just the future ones we won't put on there.
Photoshopped it. Whoopsie.
We never said that. What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? But yeah, so now the PS5 Pro, like I feel like it's there. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be so good.
RDNA 4.
Yeah. It's not even available on PC yet.
Yes, there's some amazing things in there that unfortunately the headlines mask over the problems that we were talking about at the start of the show with the pricing and how shocking that all was, how close it is to PC now, actually masks over some of the really good things that are in this.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And that's we're here now onto the good stuff. This is incredible, and that's what I was trying to say with the if everyone was millionaires and could just have one of these.
Day one, I wouldn't even question it.
It would be so good.
Yeah.
And if even the price reflected the dollar converted down, then I would probably want to buy one.
So you'd be looking at with a disk drive £600.
Yeah.
You go,
I think that's
pretty good.
I think that's fair for the system. I'm extremely excited by what they've done here.
RDNA 4, like you say, it's not commercially available yet.
No.
So that's going to reap huge benefits for everything they're saying it's going to be able to do. The really interesting thing is pisser.
That is the big one. Yeah.
We all love a pisser.
We are, yeah.
PlayStation Spectral Super Resolution.
Like it.
Which is their AI. Right. Is it AI? It's just an upscaler.
Yeah. Well,
AI. Right. Okay. I've got a bit of a bee in my bonnet about when everyone calls everything AI.
Everything's AI now.
Much like about 10 years ago when things used to be server-based.
Yes.
They've been server-based since the internet existed.
Yes.
And then it became cloud.
Yeah.
So even the cloud.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? Cloud? It's a server. Cloud. And then everything was cloud-based. Yes. Oh, it's cloud-based.
And now you're confusing all the old people because they literally think it's in the sky.
No, it's just, they just mean server.
Yeah.
Okay. Cloud gaming. Oh, stop calling it that.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it sounds cool though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does sound cool.
Takes it away from the 80s.
And so does AI sound cool on upscaling.
No, AI didn't sound cool. They'd just get rid of that.
Artificially intelligent upscaling.
But
all of computing is artificially intelligent. Okay? Let's just accept it.
But, there is some element of it's going to use AI to recreate the image rather than like just a stock algorithm, as far as I'm aware. But that's what DLSS is.
Yes.
But
this is, so hardware-based upscaling is the interesting thing about this,
and that's
rather
the
than
thing.
driver-based.
It seems to be a physical part of RDNA 4. It seems to like there's going to be just like NVIDIA with DLSS, where there's an actual chip on the board that does this one task. Unlike, because people I see online a lot right now going, PlayStation's got FSR and
just use that.
That's a driver level. That's a software-based thing. It's not the same. It's not the same. There is fundamental issues with that in image quality and stuff, and that is why the leading people right now is NVIDIA with DLSS. It's miles above. That's why for my eGPU, I'm absolutely going with NVIDIA, because I'm going to need to utilize upscaling because I'm going to take a performance hit from the GPU encoder. So I need to gain that performance back by upscaling it. And I know NVIDIA's DLSS is far better than anything else.
Yeah.
And PlayStation now have that in the 5 Pro with pisser.
So it basically sounds like they've either name slapped or they've tweaked.
It'll be a custom version.
A slightly customized version of it. But that is phenomenal in itself. And that's all the things they talked about in that presentation, the increased GPU performance and all that.
Yeah.
Although those things are kind of expected. The CPU is the same.
Yes.
Which is an interesting point to to say. But I think that the pisser is the biggest thing.
That's what's
all based around, because it means they can run it at a lower resolution, higher frame rate is a consequence. So the GPU is just focusing on frames rather than resolution. And then upscale it at the end.
Yes.
In a hardware basis rather than being driver based, which is obviously going to put another load on CPU, which is actually in this system the limiting factor is that CPU.
But it probably doesn't need it because I imagine
it's now hardware based.
Yes, I'm not sure with PlayStation games, but
I don't think many of them are CPU bound.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I don't know how many are throttled by the CPU. Whereas on PC, you can tell, this game suffers because the CPU's the bottleneck, not the GPU. Whereas I imagine that's not the case. Otherwise, they would have changed it.
So, but by a million miles, the biggest thing is pisser.
Oh, yes.
And that's what's enabling them to do this other increased performance. I wished in the presentation, there was 3 things I wished. That they blew up the PS4 at the start.
Absolutely.
That would have been cool as hell.
Yep.
Right. We're no longer... It's been a great run. 10 years, whatever it's been. The end.
You know how they started it going, instead of saying how bad the PS5 was, they bigged it up.
Yeah.
And they went, it's so cool, but we've done better.
Yeah.
What they should have done is like, you all know and love the PlayStation 4. It's been around for thousands of years.
It's time to send it to the farm.
We only make games for the PS4 currently.
Yeah.
And then he should have got an axe out and just gone, gone, it's dead.
Yeah.
It's over. Goodbye. And then gone on to the PS5 Pro.
I can't remember what the other 2 things are now. I got so excited by that visual medley that you were drawing for me. PS4.
Yes.
One of the other things, anyway, that I wish they didn't show Last of Us.
They play loads of PS4 games.
They were just showing PS4 games
on the PS5 Pro.
Stop!
You remember this PS2 game?
Right, Last of Us Part 2, phenomenal game. We all know one of the greats.
I've completed all those games.
I've not, but it's one of the greats.
You give me stick for not completing games, and I completed PlayStation games, and you haven't.
I think it's still sealed.
Amazing.
One of the great games that I've never played.
Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Right. Just let it die.
Yeah, no,
right?
It needs to be done.
PS4 games need to die now.
Yes, yeah.
And I think that's the final point is show some PS5 games, please.
Yes.
And maybe announce another new game. Show something that's upcoming.
It should have shown.
Something from PlayStation Studios.
It should have shown, instead of, here's a load of old stuff you already know, looking like incrementally better.
Yeah.
Or like what they said was like 30 FPS is really choppy.
What are we saying about the PS5 then?
What we've been doing for the past like how many years?
But instead they were like, let's focus on the scenery in Ratchet and Clank is now improved. Like nobody cares about the scenery in Ratchet and Clank.
And then they zoomed in, but then zoomed out, so you couldn't see it. It's like, what?
When they did the side by sides, and it was like windowed into. And I think all of us were like, "What? Sorry, what?"
Yeah, it's like we're gonna crop in here, but then we're gonna crop out.
I can't. Totally pointless.
Yeah, you've just done like that. Didn't make any sense
for technical people. You're being really special right now.
Yeah. That made no sense whatsoever. I've lost my train of thought now.
But they needed to show PS5 games.
Oh, sorry. Yes. I wanted them to be like, instead of showing all the old stuff, be like, here's the PS5 Pro, and here is a game that's going to utilize it, the first of many, like some brand new, like Killzone, bring Killzone back, or something really cool.
Or even just a tease of something that's coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm delighted to show you a world exclusive of
like
the first gameplay from
whatever at 4K 60, absolutely boshing it.
And that was the other thing that irritated me so much.
What was this about? Yeah, I know what you're going to say.
So I accept the hardware improvements.
Yes.
And I can see the merits in them.
Yes.
I believe them that these things are going to happen.
Yes.
So show them.
Yes. They
were showing renders. They weren't showing gameplay.
Yeah, it was weird, wasn't it?
And they did this whole montage at the end. It was all like cutscene renders.
But he announced it. He said, and now let's look at some games taking use of the PS5 Pro.
And I was like, oh, sweet. Okay, let's watch this.
And they took the first 3 seconds of every trailer and just played it. I was like,
mate, you can make any render look good on any machine because it's pre-rendered.
Yeah. I was like, right? Where's the gameplay? Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
show me the gameplay.
Even if it was 3 seconds, like bam, 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 bam,
There was this moment where they showed a flicker of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yes.
And I know that this game's going to be one of the ones that gets the most improvement from this.
I feel like they flicked up Alan Wake 2 as well.
They did,
which struggles on console.
Like, they literally showed his foot and face. I think it's something like that. The same with Final Fantasy. They showed like one of the a minor character in the game as well. It was really weird. It's like,
oh, now it's gone.
And it was one of the cutscenes that I remember them putting in the trailers before the game was released. Like, okay, show me. Show us all.
Yeah.
Because in a minute, you're going to make us all crap our pants by telling us it's £700.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They did an absolute poor performance.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they pissed it up the wall.
Of showcasing it.
Yeah.
And then at the end, obviously, dropped the massive bombshell.
Yeah, the 700. But like, going back to that technical showcase, the fact that GPU has such a big improvement.
Yeah, it's huge.
The pisser. And there was another thing. They kept saying, we've got 3 things that we love here.
So you've got AI upscaling, GPU performance, and ray tracing.
Oh, ray tracing
is increased by
there we go.
Speed of ray tracing
3 times. Yeah, 3 times. So that's going to be really intriguing to see.
Well, there was some hilarious parts of that with the ray tracing. So they showed great ray tracing in Hogwarts Legacy.
Yes.
At 30 FPS.
Yes, yeah, with like really low res, like
guys.
It was like, okay, this is cool.
Improved ray tracing in Gran Turismo 7. Okay, I can see the reflection of the car in the other car.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yes.
When you're playing Gran Turismo 7, who cares? Honestly.
No, I get you.
Maybe for the cinematic replay. Do you ever play it? Ever play racing it? Like, Gran Turismo is quite well known for looking really good in its generation. Always has. Even right back to the first one. Racing being kind of quite simulated, so it's very accurate.
Yes.
And then they always do, if you care to watch them, really great replays.
Yeah, you watch the whole thing.
And it's like, it's almost cinematic.
Yeah.
That's when you want it to look good.
Yes.
But then, I mean, I know it's rendered in engine, but then it's less important, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, reflection of my car in the side panel of another car. I know technically that's really difficult. Ray tracing is really difficult.
Yeah.
So it's impressive.
It's massively impressive for 3 times.
But it's impressive on paper.
Yes.
Not necessarily in performance.
I think what's impressive here is the combination of those three things.
Yeah.
They might not
the
have
big
delivered.
three.
I don't feel like they delivered it kind of correctly. No. But if all of this stuff can utilize and like come together to make a 4K upscaled image with 3 times better ray tracing, it really is going to be the best console experience.
Huge.
Like taking all the negatives out of it and the price and everything, it is going to be phenomenal. I'd love to have one. Like I would genuinely love to have one. I've owned every PlayStation.
Yeah, I would love to have one. I don't know if I can afford it.
Oh no!
In all honesty, I don't know if I can justify spending that much money on it.
Not with the PC route that I've been taking. No.
And my other gripe with there not being new games. It's not. I'm going to drop the PS4 thing. I know we harp on about it all the time. The games are on PS4 as well, but the games they talked about getting these huge performances. How many people are going to be bothered to go back and play them?
Yeah.
In all honesty,
I don't.
Now you have a PS5 Pro enhanced mode available, and there's this library of games that's available. I take Final Fantasy Rebirth because they talked about it so much, and in all the written literature about it, and it's one of the games that I've recently completed. I would not go back and play it just for it to look better. I might load it up and go, oh, it does look cool.
No, but there might be games that the performance sucks so bad, like Alan Wake 2 or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Stopped you playing?
Yes, where people have started playing and go, wow, this sucks, and then gone away.
Yeah.
And now they could be like, yeah, I can enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? Or it could be their favourite game ever, where people do that new game plus thing, which is weird to me.
It's weird,
and just keep replaying the game forever. Do you know what I mean? Until the end of time. But yeah, so the thing for me, when you ask me, would I buy one? Yes, I would buy one. The thing stopping me is PlayStation PC. If PlayStation PC never happened, I think I'd buy one. I would get one on finance or whatever. I would trade the PlayStation 5 in. I mean, I sold it because of PlayStation PC.
You sold it at the right time.
Yeah. Well, I did, didn't I? But, like the only reason is because of PlayStation PC, and that's going to grow.
Yeah.
We know stuff like Stellar Blade, which is right up my street. I gave you my PS5 copy because I was like, this is going to be great. I know it's going to come to PC. Part of the reason why I felt like I could sell the PlayStation. I wouldn't say I regret it. I miss having it, knowing that I've got it downstairs and all the games I had that I hadn't completed. Yeah. I'm like, I paid full price for them, and now I just basically like throw them down the drain. So it's like,
Cyberpunk's going to look good.
Yeah, stuff like that though. And that's the thing for me is if I wasn't a PC player, I'd be all in on this, I think.
Yeah.
Or if there was no PlayStation PC, where I know I can get even better performance than the PS5 Pro.
And the game's cheaper.
And
there's going to be a PlayStation launcher, PC launcher coming.
Yeah.
So kind of almost certainly.
So I feel like it's a very tough sell.
I don't think they'll even reach 10% of PS5 players.
I think this is going to be the most underperforming.
Yeah, just because of the price.
Yeah, because of the price. And they're going to say, it's sold out everywhere, but they've made 5.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and that's what happened with the PlayStation Portal. Look how well it sells. Yeah, you sold 10 because you made 10. Do you know what I mean? Like, great. I know that's different now. But also that's funny. Playing PS5 Pro on the PS Portal.
Pointless.
What's the point?
Pointless.
That thing sucks.
Yeah.
Like it needs if it was like an OLED with Wi-Fi 7.
Yeah.
So that you could utilize the PS5
The Wi-Fi
Pros,
7 in your PS5.
Exactly. Then But no, not with the current setup.
No. I'm struggling. I'm the perfect audience for it.
You're the demographic.
I'm the demographic for it. I've got disposable income. I'm a huge PlayStation fan, and also I make videos about computer games, which I think is going to be the majority of people that buy this.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be streamers and stuff, and people that want to play PlayStation games.
That's the market there. Yeah.
So I'm the market for it, and even I'm going, because I need to buy the disc drive so I can play PS5 games aren't in here. They're for room. Yeah. So I can play my PS5 games because I bought them all physically because that's what most of us do.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with it. So it means I've got to spend £800 and I haven't got a stand for it then. So £830.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense to me.
No.
If I struggled with spending that much on an Ally X, which offers me a lot more.
Yes.
I've already got a PS5.
Yes.
So I don't need it.
But that's the thing. PC wise, I will drop £800 all day long.
Yeah,
on a PC stuff.
The thing is though with PC, it's such a sound investment.
But that's the thing, yeah.
And that's the problem. Now you're at that point of it being an investment rather than just a purchase.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's not like it's only this much. Easy purchase. Now you're in the point of that is just a gaming machine.
Like
you can't do anything else with it.
I got my Series X in a sale for, was it $330? Was
something like that? It was an amazing bargain.
Yeah, it's like, okay, sweet, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
That's not an investment. That's just kind of, I know it's still a lot of money for a lot of people, but that's just a smaller purchase in the gaming world.
It's a games console only, and it's justified. It's a Game Pass machine.
It's a Game Pass machine.
That's a brilliant price.
So when you're over £800 to get the full setup,
which is again just for gaming on, like just gaming,
just PlayStation gaming,
yeah.
And we've
full priced PlayStation gaming.
How many PlayStation 5 exclusive, not available on PS4 games are there? Less than 20. Probably, yeah. I mean, if I was to be generous, less than 20.
Yeah.
So they need to, there's a lot they need to do to make it make sense.
Yes.
And they missed a window of opportunity at that presentation.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't buy it yet.
Yeah. Sadly, this has been tainted by what could have been the best thing ever if the pricing was right.
It is the best thing ever.
Because it is. Yeah. And that's what I was trying to say earlier. Like, against all the negativity and shade we've thrown at it, this is going to be phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's going to be amazing. Like, if you came into money or someone bought you one or whatever, won one on a giveaway or something, it's going to be the best thing you've ever had. I would happily have one.
I'm going to be entering some giveaways.
Oh, yeah, I will. Because I would love to have one, even though it's pointless for me because I'm PC and my PCs are better. Do you know what I mean? But I like having the console experience too, you know? And especially when it is exclusive, if they ever make exclusives again, then I like having that experience too. Ultimately, I came from consoles originally, but that price point and everything is just like, whoa,
it's a huge stumbling block.
It's a big stumbling block, like it is a big hurdle, but it really makes me intrigued to see what Microsoft do with the Xbox, with the new Xbox, because they're going to jump to the next gen quicker. Yeah, and they've promised this will be the biggest generational leap ever.
Will it be the biggest pricing leap?
I don't think so.
Well, I think they'll be very clever and they'll just watch what happens to the PS5 Pro.
But they've always taken losses on Xbox. Yeah. They're Microsoft. They're like billions dollars company, and they know that people ain't going to want to spend this. Yeah. They know that they're in third place. They know that,
they've got to do something.
They've got to do something, and they've already promised that this is going to be the biggest upgrade. It's going to be better than the PS5 Pro because it's the next gen, and it's going to be ridiculous. Where's that going to lie price point? If they launch that at like $550,
they win, don't they?
Hilarious.
They win.
And maybe that's what they've been waiting for.
I'd love to know what you guys think about the PS5 Pro. I'm sure you will share the kind of general shock and disbelief at the pricing. Yes. But do you agree with us about the hardware side of things? Let us know down in the comments down below. And once you're digging around down there, make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. If you're on podcast land, thank you for joining us. We love your face, although we can't see it.
No, we can't, but you can see ours potentially.
Hopefully you can.
Yes.
Or unless you're on Apple and then you can't.
Oh.
We're in the top 25 in the UK now.
I know. Yeah, it's because
they can't see us on Apple.
That's why they don't know how ugly we are.
But if you're a podcast fan, please do rate the show. It actually really helps us out more than you realise.
Yes.
There's other things you can do as well, isn't there?
There is, yeah.
Do you know what they are?
Yeah, buy a PlayStation 5 Pro.
Don't save your money. Save your money, okay? And for 700 months, you can be a member of 128 KV.
Yes, do that instead. Yes, become a member. Yeah. You can see these videos early sometimes.
Yeah.
And you can come to our private Discord and chat to us.
Yeah, do that. It's a great place to be. There's some lovely people in there as well.
Indeed, yeah.
And of course, there's other things to do, like watching other videos from us smashed between our faces. This one is my favourite.
Yeah, it's mine too.
That one, no.
Yeah.
Not so much. That's a bit of a PS5 Pro.
It is a bit of a pisser.
So until the next time,
bye.